So, welcome everybody. It is the last Sunday and the last day of January. We made it through the first month, so high five for all of us for sure. Um, and since it's still January, we are continuing to work on strength. So, this is getting stronger number 4 for us. And we've been building. So, I'm hoping that you've started to notice a couple of things. One, that maybe you're starting to notice that you're actually getting stronger. If you feel like sometimes the practice is getting easier, it's not. That's you getting stronger. And also, I'm hoping that you're starting to become more comfortable with tuning into yourself and noticing when you're maybe tired or when maybe you need to cut yourself a little bit of slack in your practice for whatever reason, where you come to your practice in the morning and today it really doesn't feel easier and it felt easier maybe last week. And that is life. And we have to just give ourselves permission in our practice to be okay with working where we are. So when we work in a strength practice, those two things are huge. Being able to see even tiny little bits of improvement in different spaces in different ways, but also in the practice teaching us patience and resilience, and to be able to really tune into ourselves, how we're doing, and be kind to ourselves in our practice. So we're kicking it up just a little bit today, or options really to kick it up a little bit today. And again, I'm going to encourage you to tune into that self-kindness, to not push hard, not to strive past someplace that you maybe really need to go. We're going to start our practice today in supine bound angle. So on our back, with feet together and knees to the side, just a gentle opening through the inner thighs and releasing just a little bit through the outer as well, reaching into the back. If you have blocks or pillows or blankets, you can always put them underneath your thighs to give yourself some support. We're going to come down. You can move any way that you feel like you need as you start to let your shoulders sit back. Just pick up the hips for a moment so that you allow that natural arch to come back into the spine. Let the soles come together and the knees release to the side. And again, you might need to reacquaint yourself with the arch in your low back. Support yourself so this isn't extremely intense, but a space where you can start to arrive in your practice. And if for any reason this is just too much as you come down this morning to start, then let the feet be on the floor and the knees knock in. Constructed resting pose. Whatever version you start in, that is perfect. Let your hands come towards the sides of your body. Maybe the palms shine up. Take a big breath in. Through the nose, all the air you can take. Adjust the shoulders. Big sigh to let it go. And beginning to watch the breath. Finding something that is supportive and ease-filled to carry you through your practice this morning. Letting your awareness travel from the crown of the head all the way through every corner of your body. Tapping to release tension. Making notes of things that are sore. things that might need a little care as you move today. If your knees are still to the sides, notice if your sit bone muscles, if your thigh muscles and your core are really engaged holding you here, and see if you can let them relax so that gravity takes over. At first it might be really strong, but then notice how it just seems to ease into that space. We're going to take 5 more intentional breaths in whichever shape you chose to arrive in. And on that last 5th breath, take in all the air you can. Maybe through the mouth, very slow, let it go. Bringing movement through the hands, open and close the fingers. We're going to let the hands come to the outside of the thighs to help close the knees together. The feet come to the mat. Take a breath and let that first intensity of the release happen. We're going to walk the feet about as wide as your mat, and you can adjust your low back again if it feels like just it needs that release. Just some windshield wipers here, so let the knees fall towards the right. Moving really slowly with your breath, shift, let them move, pass over to the left. And just back and forth a few times here. Start to lubricate the hip joint. Once more on each side, but taking your time as you find your way. Coming back to center, bringing your heels closer to your sit bones and in line with your hips, so the knees are about hip width apart. And you can scooch your sit bones towards your heels and tuck the shoulders under if it's easier than bringing the heels to the body. It's just one of those things. And then open up the feet really wide and then place them back down so that the feet are lengthened, expanded, and really engaged to the floor. We're going to take some flowing bridge here as we start. So adjust your shoulder blades under so the heart is open, the shoulders are melting back. Palms can be down along the side of the body. We're going to press the low back in towards the floor and scoop the pelvis. So we're just lifting the sit bones off the mat to a hover. Feel your core engage, start to feel it on the front line of the legs in through the hip flexors. Slow breath. And if you notice your knees falling out, squeeze the invisible block between them. Exhale, we're going to release that engagement so the arch comes back into your spine. Sit bones come back down to the floor. On your inhale again, press the low back down, lift the sit bones up, and then start to peel the spine. So you're reaching from the top of the hips towards the ceiling, vertebrae at a time. Press strongly into the feet, but also lift from the core and the heart. Take a full breath here. Keep squeezing that invisible block. Exhale, starting at the top of the spine, very slowly with the breath, come all the way back down so that the hips arrive at the bottom of your exhale. Inhale again, press the low back, lift the hips, start to peel the spine. Now get to the strongest, most lifted space you can. So pressing really strong into the feet. Squeeze the sit bones and lift upward. And then tuck your shoulder blades under one at a time so that you lift the heart as well. Take a breath, press into the feet, lift everything through the top line of the body. Maybe you move your chin away from your chest if that makes it feel better through the line of the spine. Squeeze everything, lift upward. Take a breath. On the exhale, controlled, untuck one shoulder at a time. From the top of the spine, very slowly with control, coming all the way down so the hips arrive at the bottom of the breath. We're going to do that again. Inhale, press low back, start to lift, peeling up the body. Come to your most lifted, then tuck a shoulder blade, and then the other. Inhale, lift just a little more. Squeeze. Everything's starting to feel warm. Maybe there's some shake. Keep pressing into the feet, squeezing the muscles, the sit bones, lifting through the core. You can interlace fingers here beneath you if that is available. Maybe you press pinkies down towards the floor. Inhale, lift a little bit more. This is super strong. You come down when you need, and then maybe you come back up if you just need a breath. Inhale, lift just a little bit higher. We're almost there. Release the hands if they're bound. Untuck one shoulder, then the other, really slow and controlled. Stay lifted here for a breath. From the top of the spine, oh, everything's tired, really controlled. Come all the way down. Sighing, exhale, just take a few breaths here. Bring knees to chest and keep your tailbone down if you're able so that you feel this through the low back, through the glutes and into the back of the hamstrings. Feet come back down, and then we're going to come into corpse pose. So the legs are long, hands are at the sides. We're going to take our low boat. We've been working on this for a few weeks. So this morning, we're going to take 2 rounds of 10. And that gives you a couple of options. If you are finding that you're working strength in either the upper part or the lower part, you can start with one or the other of those and then alternate to the other one on the second round of 10, or come everything up and lifted, or you can try and come to everything lifted for both rounds of 10. You've got lots of options. Make this your own as we start to warm up this morning. So hands alongside, pinkies down so that you can energize the arms to reach towards the bottom of the mat as you start to lift your body. Take a full breath in, big exhale, let it go. And then inhale, lift whatever you're choosing, maybe the upper body and the feet. Squeeze everything inward. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lower everything down, but do it controlled. Try not to just let go and hit the floor. Take a breath. Okay, we're going to do that again. On your next inhale, lifting everything up, keeping everything tight and engaged, reaching through the hands, squeezing inward. One more big breath here. With control, let yourself come down. Beautiful, you guys. We're going to bring the right knee towards the chest, just drawing the knee towards the outer ribs and the shoulder. The left leg can be on the mat, or you can engage it and lift it to a hover, press through the heel. We're really focusing on the glute and the hamstring on the right knee. Let your shoulders be soft to the floor. We're going to make outward circles with the knee, so towards the right first. Try and keep your sit bones and your pelvis from rocking. We want to keep them glued to the floor and have the movement come from the hip socket. Next, inhale, draw the knee back towards the chest and then change direction. Remember, you can keep that left leg engaged and hovering if you want to keep the core nice and warm, the thigh muscles nice and warm, or you can let it be soft towards the floor. Next, inhale, bring the knee back towards the chest. Take a pause. We're going to switch the legs. So the left knee is going to come in, right leg comes long again. The right leg can press to the heel and come to a hover, or you can let it come to the mat. The left knee comes in towards the shoulder and starts to shift towards the outer ribs as you start to open through the glute and the hamstring. Slow breath. And then starting with outward circles, so moving the knee towards the left, trying to keep all the movement in the hip socket. So that might mean this is very small movement for you. That's fine. We're working with what's available in your body. In your next breath, bring the knee in towards the heart and then change direction, really mindful. If you've chosen to hover and you start feeling that fatigue or there's struggle, give yourself permission to let the legs soften down. Inhale, bring the knee to chest. Both knees can come up towards the chest. Give yourself a squeeze, maybe a rock side to side. And then we're going to rock up and down the length of the spine and come towards hands and knees. So as you arrive here, bring your wrists underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips. Find your neutral spine, big, wide fingers so you can press the center of your palm, the base of your wrist down towards the floor. And just take a few breaths here in table. Already your core is probably starting to feel warmer, more engaged. Take some cat and cow here. So on your inhale, drop the core, lift the heart and the tail. Exhale, round as you press the floor away with the head and neck dangle. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders, lift the heart. Exhale, round. One more time. Cow pose. Rounding through cat pose. Coming to neutral spine here. We're going to warm up through the wrists like we have been. And so we're going to take the fingers towards the outside edges of the mat. Walk your wrists towards each other as is available through the hands, forearms, shoulders. So maybe the wrists kiss, maybe not. We're going to make circles. So we're going to inhale and come forward. So press the base of your wrist down, the middle of your hand down, and pause right there. This could be really, really strong. So it might be a tiny movement. Work into what's here. Breathe into any strong sensation. And then moving to the right first. Really slow. As you exhale, the sit bones move back. Keep pressing the base of the palms into the floor. So you're going to feel this through the center of the hand, through the fingers, the wrists, the forearms. And if you're not really feeling much of anything, explore where your hands are, how close, how far, how engaged you actually are. If you're putting any effort into keeping your hands heavy and wide, or if they're just kind of floating there. Next breath, come forward. So press the heels of the hands down, heart comes forward. And then change direction. Mindful that changing direction can be really strong. So move slowly, breathe deeply. One more breath, we're going to bring the heart forward. Exhale, bring the shoulders and the heart over top of the wrists. We're going to pick one hand up at a time, put the back of the hand down, release on the wrist. Wiggle the fingers, open and close the hand. Then support so you can do the same with the other. Peel it slowly, flip it, press the base of the wrist just gently. Lots of breath. Open and close the fingers, maybe roll through the wrists. We're going to take a toe stand here this morning. And so we're going to tuck the toes under. Reach back and make sure your pinky toe comes as well, because often it kind of is doing its own thing. We want to reach fully into the base of the foot if we're able. And then let your hips come back towards your heels. Your hands are still down. This might be where you stay. This can be lots and lots, especially if you haven't done this in a while. Opening the feet can be super intense. But if it's available, you start to come up a little bit more. You might bring hands to thighs. You might sit all the way up. No right or wrong. Wherever this is available to you, you can bring hands to hearts. Press the hands into each other and breathe. I find keeping the eyes closed can help. Focusing all your awareness inward. Knowing that you can come forward anytime to lessen or ease any intensity that rises. Let's take one more slow, deep breath all the way in. Big sigh, let it go. Very slowly walking the hands towards the floor from wherever you're at. Rest here before we release the toes. Then one foot, very slowly untuck the toes and just place the top of the foot on the floor. And then same thing on the other side, releasing the toes, placing the top of the foot down. Take a breath or two right here. Then you can lift the feet. Maybe you wiggle the toes. You can roll the wrists. Some people like to tap their feet. Not my favorite because it kind of breaks up what we just opened. So if you want more release to the top of the feet, it can be nice to lean back and open up the top in a reverse. Lots of options to let that go. And then we're going to come back towards hands and knees here. Shift the hips back towards a child's pose. Walk your hands as far forward as they'll go. We're going to take some of our striking cobra here. So get really long through the spine. Reach the wrists forward and the tailbone back. Let the hands melt back down towards the floor. Let's breathe in, coming all the way up through cat pose. Shifting forward into a knee plank. If you're working in that space, you can tuck the toes under and come into a full plank here. Lower slowly all the way to the floor. Squeeze the shoulder blades back. Find your baby cobra. Elbows are bent a lot. Heart is reaching forward. Let the hips sink into the mat. Exhale down. Press the four-way round through cat. Hips back to child's. Again, inhale, rising up, round the spine, shifting forward into your knee plank. Take a breath right here in this plank. Press the floor away. Feel your core cinch in towards your spine, whether you're from your knees or you've chosen to come to full plank. Definitely is not a necessity. It's just an option depending on where you're working this morning. Slowly lower to the floor. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades back. Find your way into your cobra. Maybe a little bit more space this time. Exhale, lower down. Press the floor away, round to child's. One more, just like that. Inhale, round. Shifting forward into your really strong plank. Whatever version you're in, keep your chin away from your chest. Press the floor away, be strong. Lower all the way down to the floor. Squeeze the shoulder blades back. Find your fullest cobra. So elbows stay bent, shoulders squeeze back, heart lifts. Full breath. Exhale, floor. Press the floor away, round the spine, hips back to child's. Now, last week we introduced a flowing push-up, and we're going to do 3 of those again this morning. So similar to what we just did in our striking cobra, but we're just going to come forward. We're not rounding the spine. We're coming forward to the knee plank, press down, press back to child's pose. So not necessarily a full push-up. It's a lowering down with control and then press the floor way back to child's pose. It starts to build more strength through the upper body. So take a breath right here in your child's. Inhale, shifting forward to your knee plank. Lower all the way to the floor. Press the floor back to child's pose. Take a breath. Inhale, come to your plank. Lower all the way down. Press the floor away to child's pose. Take a breath. One more. Inhale to plank. Pause right here. Lower down with control. Press the floor away to child's. Beautiful, you guys. Inhale, we're going to come back to that plank. Lower all the way down towards the floor. Forearm plank. We have a lot of planks today. Planks are incredible, not just for upper body. They're a full body exercise because you need your core, you need your glute muscles, you need your quadricep muscles, you work into the feet, you work into the calves, all through the upper body. They're fantastic. So that's why also they're very strong. So coming to sit up for our plank, elbow underneath the shoulder. Again, palms can be down. You can take them interlaced. We are working at 1:15 again this week. And remember, you have permission to come out of your plank for yourself whenever you feel like you need. So take a full breath in and let it go. Tuck the toes under, and on your next inhale, we're going to lift. So pressing into the elbows, pressing into the palms that are down, so whether it's pinky or hands, letting your sit bones come in line with the heels and the shoulders. So you're drawing your heart forward. And notice if your head is dangling, that is extra gravity pulling you down. So press your chin away from your chest so that your neck becomes an extension of your spine. And you start to press your heels back. Keep all of your awareness on your breath. So you're pressing the floor away, reaching through the crown, pressing through the heels, all of the awareness to breath. And if you need something for the mind to do, because while sitting here and not letting it do anything, it seems like it's just too long, then count your inhales and your exhales. Press into the elbows and the fingers. Slow, deep breath in. One more exhale out. Be really strong if you're still with me. Inhale. Slowly coming down. Hips come down. Release the toes. Make a pillow with your hands. Beautiful, you guys. Take a moment here to catch your breath, to let your body come back. to a space where it starts to feel strong again. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. We're going to press the floor way back to child's pose, but more like a puppy. So reach your hands forward, reach your hips back, long through the spine, long through the shoulders. Then we're going to walk the hands back towards the knees. Tuck your toes under. We're going to pop up into a squat. Take a moment here, open the knees, walk the hands forward into a bow. You can switch the knees back and forth so you feel this through the low back, through the inner groin and the feet. You can pause here in stillness. We're going to walk the hands back towards the feet, close up your knees. Start to lift this into a ragdoll so the feet come to the floor. Keep a bend in your knees as you start to lift your hips up and let everything in the upper body hang down. Let's bend the knees a lot. Come all the way up to stand. Maybe you take a baby back bend here. Exhale through heart. Close the eyes. Take a moment to press the base of the big toe down into the floor. Feel strong in your mountain pose. So reaching through the crown of the head. Shoulders just come to a neutral space away from the ears. Notice if you have a big arch in your low back, bring your ribs back under your shoulders so it feels like your tailbone comes down. And then let that go. We're going to come back towards the top of the mat. Make any adjustments that you need. Maybe a sip of water. And we're going to focus a little bit more today on some standing poses. So letting go of some of the plank work that we just did, some of the push-up work that we just did. We're going to transition back into core, but a little bit more in the lower body as well. So again, rooting through the base of the big toes, so the whole bottom of your foot engages. Hands come to heart. Take a breath. On your next inhale, we're going to reach the hands all the way up to the sky. Exhale, bend your knees as you hinge and fold down towards the floor. And take a moment here. So play with the bend in your knees. Know your legs actually should not be straight. They shouldn't be locked out. Even if you have a really easy standing forward fold, you should have a little bit of a bend in your knees. Next inhale, we're going to come to a flat back. So walk the hands at the shins, engage your core, squeeze your shoulder blades back so that the crown of the head comes forward and your tailbone reaches back towards the back of your mat. Hold this here. This is super strong. Again, you should have a little bit of a bend in the knees. Otherwise, you're really starting to feel like you're hyperextending your legs. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees a lot. Just come all the way back to stand. Reach for the sky. Exhale, hinge and fold all the way back down. Inhale through that flat back. Exhale, find your fold. Bend your knees enough that your hands come to the mat. We're going to step the right foot back into a runner's lunge. Let's just pause right here. So press to the back of the heel, reach the heart forward so that you start to find length in your spine. And if the floor seems far away or this doesn't feel like you can get length to the spine because you're trying so hard to find the floor, then you put blocks or something similar under the hands. Bring the front knee over the ankle and focus on the length and the opening and the shape of your runner's lunge. And one more breath right here. Front foot's going to step back to downward facing dog. So take a moment to find your down dog. You might walk it out a little bit, but if you do that, move really, really slowly and tie it to breath rather than pedaling it out strong and fast. Open the hands up so that the middle of the palm comes to the floor. You can have a really strong bend in your knees as you lengthen the upper body. And then maybe the heels start to get heavy towards the floor. Move your chin away from your chest so your ears come between your biceps. And you keep moving your heart towards the big toe. Slow breath right here. On your next inhale, we're going to rise all the way up onto toes. So press the base of every single toe strongly into the floor so that your hips get as high as they can. And then press the floor away again so your heart moves back towards those toes and you feel even stronger in this raised down dog. Inhale, we're going to unwind forward into a plank. And as you come to your plank, your knees could come down, shoulders come over the wrists, chin comes away from the chest. Take a breath. Exhale, press the floor away, come back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, rising back up onto toes. Press the base of each toe strong into the floor. Reach the heart back to the big toes. Inhale, unwind very slowly with control into that plank so the shoulders come over the wrists, chin comes away from the chest. Press the floor away, feel strong. Exhale, shift back to downward facing dog. We're going to take crossing climbers here. So with the right knee, we're going to bring the right knee to the right elbow, then step back to downward facing dog. Bring it to the left elbow, step back to our down dog. Bring it to the center in a hover, come back to down dog. So moving slow and taking breaks anytime that we need. Take a full breath in here. Let it go. Inhale with control, use your core, bring the knee towards the elbow. So we're in plank, step back, down dog. Still on the right knee, inhale, bring it across the body towards the left elbow, coming into the plank, press back, down dog. Beautiful. Inhale, we're going to bring the knee forward, draw in towards the heart, shoulders come over the wrists, press back to downward facing dog. We're going to lift the right leg up into the air, three-legged dog. So inhale that heel nice and high, press the floor away, try and keep your hip closed. We're going to draw the knee back in towards the heart and come into a plank. So full breath here. And then draw the knee forward, come back into that plank, hover. Press the floor away and lift your hips so you're tented. Full breath, and then step between the hands. Boom, really strong. Use your hand to help the foot come forward because likely it may not have made that there on its own. Runner's lunge. We're going to drop the back knee and release the toe. So here we are in dragon. Just let your hips sink forward a little bit. You can bring blocks underneath your hands here to lift the floor up to meet you. Slow, deep breaths. We're going to sweep the hands up on your next inhale. So sweep them forward and up. Lift the heart up. Squeeze the shoulders back into goddess. So big hands, lift the heart open. And if you want, you can let the hips fall forward, but they don't have to. The hips can be over the knee. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, squeeze the arms back. You should feel this with all the muscles in the upper body engaged. Big, big hands. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, take it back to goddess one more time. Squeeze, cactus arms. Inhale, reach. Exhale, we come back down to frame the front foot. Let's take it back to a half split just to release. So bending the back knee, starting to slowly lengthen the front, peel the toes up off the floor. Reach your heart towards the top of the mat. Slow breath. Inhale, coming back into our dragon. We're going to lift the heart one more time, bring hands to heart. We're going to take this into a twist. So the left elbow comes to the outside of the front knee. And then we're going to press palm into palm and start to rotate the heart forward to the long edge of your mat. See if you can keep your core engaged here. Squeeze the sit bones if you need the support for the balance. Slow breath. If you want to be really, really strong this morning, you can tuck that back toe under and lengthen the back leg. It's an option you don't have to take. Slow, deep breath right here. With control, engage your core, bring your hands back to frame the front foot. If you're not in runner's lunge, tuck the toe under and lift the back leg. Now we're going to step that back foot forward just a little bit, put the weight evenly into both feet. We're going to come up into our crescent lunge. So take a full breath in, use your core strength and your balance, reach for the sky. You're on the toes of the back foot. Sink into the lunge on the front knee. Hands are welcome to come to heart or to hips or down, depending on how the balance is. Slow, deep breath here. We're going to turn the back foot onto an angle. Turn this into warrior two. So adjust your feet. Press to the outside of the back foot. Sink into the front knee. Bring your shoulders so they're over your hips. So you're not leaning forward. You don't have a big arch in your spine. Everything's aligned over the hips. Slow, deep breath and just breathe here. Starting to feel the heat and the strength build, just staying in our warrior two. Just take one more breath right here. We're going to turn the front palm up. Turn this into a reverse warrior. So the back hand drops. Turn this into a side bend. So try not to lose the bend in your front knee, but open through the side body. Gaze can be down to the back foot or all the way up to the top hand. Whatever feels good for the neck and the balance. Slow, deep breath right here. Inhale, come back through your warrior two. We're going to bend the front elbow so that that forearm comes above the knee. Back hand sweeps forwards, the palm is down. Right angle pose. Rotate the spine so the heart and the ribs start to open to the long edge of your mat. And we want to get light on this front leg. So squeeze the shoulders, squeeze the glutes, engage the core so that you're more of a hover. You could almost lift this arm off. And then if you want to, you could reach that bottom arm up along parallel to the ears, just at the top arm, really, really strong to the legs. Full deep breath right here. If that hand is lifted, bring the forearm back to the leg. Inhale, coming back up to warrior two. Use the leg strength. Beautiful, you guys. We're going to windmill the hands back down to frame the front foot. Come onto the back toes. So you find your way back into your runner's lunge. The hips sink, the heart comes forward. Front foot steps back to downward facing dog. You can walk your dog here, shift and move. Take the gaze between the hands. We're going to walk up to the top of the mat. Take a ragdoll fold. And then let's pedal the feet here. So straighten the right leg, bend the left knee. And if the floor is really far away, then you use blocks to support the hands. And if the right leg doesn't straighten, then just bend the left foot and knee more than the right leg so that you are not way up and arched, where you can bring your belly towards your thighs. And then we're going to switch it. So bending the right knee more length than the left. And if you have any shake in your legs, that's okay. Deeper breaths. That's just the strength resonating through the body. Inhale, switch it up again. So pedal the legs one more time. And switch. Let both heels come towards the floor so you can have a deeper bend in your knees. Bend the knees a lot, and then come all the way up to stand. Reach for the sky. Baby back bend, press the hips forward. Exhale through heart, close the eyes. Check in with how this feels on the right side of your body. And then open the eyes, take an inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, bend the knees as you hinge and fold. Let's come to that flat back. So hands can come up the shins, they can come to blocks. Tailbone's back, crown is forward. Remember, there's probably a fairly pronounced bend in your knees, but squeeze the shoulder blades back and feel the core engage. One more breath right here. Exhale, fold. We're going to bend the knees so the hands come to the mat. This time, left foot steps back into our runner's lunge. Pausing here, drop the hips, reach the heart forward. Again, you have the option to bring your blocks underneath the hands. And then front foot steps back to downward facing dog. You can walk the dog if you like. Shift it just a little bit back into your perfect space. Spread the fingers, reach the heart back, moving the chin away from the chest. Rising all the way up onto toes. Press them really strong into the floor. Should be lots of opening. We did our toe stand this morning. Press the hands away so the heart moves back. You start to feel this open through the upper body. Big breath in. We're going to unwind forward into our plank. Chin moves away from the chest. Press this floor away, strong. Exhale back, down facing dog. We're going to take our cross climbers again, this time with the left knee. So we're going to come left knee to the left elbow, and then back to down dog. Left knee to right elbow across the body, back to down dog, and then coming through the center hover before we step into our runner's lunge again. So just like on the other side, take a full breath to prep. And on your next inhale, we shift forward into that plank, pick up the knee, bring it to the elbow, press the floor away, down dog. Inhale, left knee to right elbow this time, shoulders over the wrists, press back, downward facing dog. Inhale, the knee comes in towards the heart, take it into a plank, so we're hovering. Beautiful, take it back, down dog. The left foot's gonna come up into the air in that three-legged dog, so press the heel hard, press the floor away like your heart's moving back towards the back of your mat. Take a full breath here. The knee comes forward, we're in our hover, lift the hips so you're making space to step through, and then step in between the hands and find your runner's lunge. So super strong, beautiful you guys. Help the foot if it needs, find your way into a runner's lunge that feels good. Take a full breath here. We're gonna drop the back knee, release the toe, dragon pose right here. So let yourself sink as much as feels good. You can bring blocks underneath the hands. And then we're going to sweep the hands up and forward. So coming all the way up into our dragon, squeeze the shoulder blades back, find goddess arms, big, strong arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, squeeze them back, really engage the biceps, big hands. Hips are moving forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, squeeze, last one right here. Keep everything tight and strong. Reaching all the way up. Beautiful, hands come back down to frame the foot. Take a pause right here. And then inhale, we're gonna lift ourselves back up to our downward facing dog, or sorry, to our lifted dragon. Take a pause here, let your hips shift forward, hands come to heart. We're going to take this right elbow and turn it towards the left front knee. So we can revolve this, pressing hand into hand. You open the ribs and the heart towards the long side of your mat. Find your balance here because this can be really challenging on your balance. Squeeze the muscles around the sit bones, feel the core engage. This is strong right here. If you're wanting to work a little bit stronger, maybe you tuck the back toe under and lengthen the leg. Lots of heat when you do that. Slow breath wherever you are. One more breath. With control, hands come to frame the front foot. If your knee is down, we tuck the toe under and lift the knee, finding our way into runner's lunge. Now we're going to step the back foot up, prepping for our crescent lunge so that we have a better stance. We're on something like cross-country skis. Our stance isn't so wide that we're going to wobble when we come up too much. Put the weight into both feet. Take a full breath in. Lift with your core, come all the way up, and then adjust your lunge as you come up. Sinking into the front knee. Hands can be at heart. They can be at hips. They can reach back. Whatever feels best in your body as we arrive here. Slow breath. And then we're going to turn the back foot onto an angle and turn this into our warrior two. So adjust your feet as you need. Sink back into your lunge. So the knee is over the ankle and intending outward. Press to the outside of the back foot. Shoulders and ribs over the hips. We're almost there, guys. One more breath. Turn the front palm up. Drop the back hand, reverse warrior. Few breaths right here. Inhale through warrior two. We're going to bend the front arm, coming into our right angle. So the forearm is above the knee, back arm sweeps up and forward, and then open your heart, your ribs to the long edge of your mat. Now, sit bones, core engage so that this front arm is light. And maybe this bottom arm reaches up to be parallel with the lifted arm. Press strong into the legs. Squeeze the core. Try and keep the heart open. One more breath if the arm's lifted. Bring it back down. Use your core. Back to warrior two. We're going to windmill down towards the floor. Come onto the back toes. Runner's lunge. We're going to step the front foot back to downward facing dog. Moan and groan, shift and move. Knees come down. Find your child's pose. Let's take one more slow breath right here. We're going to take our time as we transition to seated. And then slowly make our way down onto our back. You can bring knees to chest if you like. Give yourself a squeeze. Let it feel great to be lying down. And bring the feet back down towards the floor. We're going to take a simple figure 4 and a twist just to finish off our practice before we get into our Shavasana today. So crossing the right ankle over the left knee. And before you do anything, before you bring knee to chest, just gently press that right knee away from your body and feel this through the hip socket. Slow breath right there. And we're going to pick up the left leg, bring it towards the chest. You can reach over, you can reach through and bind behind the thigh or over the shin. Wherever you are, let your shoulders melt back down towards the floor so you're not all engaged in holding yourself upward towards the leg. Let the leg come to you. And if it doesn't come easily to you for any reason, then accommodate that so that you are on your back, letting your sit bones get closer to the ground. Maybe use a blanket or a strap if you happen to have one. Or you can just stay in that initial shape we're in where we're moving the knee away. Slow, deep breaths. Let's take one more big inhale here. Release whatever you might be holding so that foot comes back down to the floor. We're going to scooch the hips towards the right. Turn this into a twist. So trying to leave the legs where they are, let's let them start to fall over towards the left. And if they change into something else, if they wrap or they splay, that's okay. I want you to feel into the side body and the side of your leg from the hip down the outside of your quadricep muscle so that this feels good in your body as you start to unravel. Take a full deep breath in as you arrive. Draw the left shoulder out from underneath your body. Find a home for your arms on your exhale. Let's take one more breath here. We're going to engage the core just enough to bring yourself back up towards center. Taking your time, then letting the feet find the mat, realign your spine. Let's pause here, tune into how that feels to the outside line on the right side of the body. And then when you're ready, we're going to cross the left ankle over the right knee. I'm going to pause here again, like we did on the other side. Just gently intend the left knee away from the body so that you start to feel this just a little bit into the head. Slow breaths. This should not be extremely intense. This shouldn't be anything uncomfortable. Just explore the little bit of release as you press knee away. And then releasing that intention, we're going to draw the right knee in towards the body. Again, you can reach the hands over towards the knee or through the hole and interlace behind the thigh or over your shin. As you exhale, let everything come heavy back down towards the floor. You control the intensity here with how much draw you're bringing on the right knee towards the body, how much you're moving the left knee away from the body. Wherever you are, trying to soften the muscles through the shoulders and the heart, around the sit bones and through the thighs. One more slow, deep breath. Whatever you might have in hand, releasing it so the foot comes back down towards the floor. We're going to scooch the hips towards the left this time. And then letting the legs start as they are to fall over towards the right. They might change. They might stay with the foot to the floor. They might come into something that looks like an eagle twist or splay out. Explore how this feels to the top line of the left leg. Take a few breaths here to find your way. So maybe you draw the right shoulder out from under the body. Create space to open through the heart. When you're ready, sigh into your exhale, find a home for the arms. 3 more breaths here. Re-engaging through your core, just so you safely come back to center. Uncross the legs, feet find the mat. Align and pause. And it's time to find our way into our final relaxation. So if you like socks or sweaters, anything at all to bring comfort to your final pose, take an opportunity to do that now. And then find your way into that shape for yourself. So it could be corpse pose, it could be pentacle pose with your legs open, the arms displayed wide, it could be on your side, you could be seated. Just coming to a shape that is going to allow you to come to stillness and integrate your practice. So letting the shoulders soften, the eyes close. Make any last adjustments as you feel like you need. Take a slow, deep breath in. So feel the belly rise, the ribs open, and the heart lift. And just pause there. Energized, full, all of the air that you can contain. Sip in just a little bit more air. Big sigh, let it go. Very gently coming back to breath. Deepening the inhale. Settling out on the exhale. Inviting movement, fingers, toes, wrists, and ankles. Allowing the head to drop side to side. And let's reach the arms up overhead, point your toes long, take a full good morning stretch. Big breath. And out. And then move any way that feels right or necessary. As you start to make your way back up towards seated. As you arrive, sit bones are heavy, heart is lifted on a tall spine. Close down the eyes and check in. The full moon energy was really strong this week. So if you've been feeling really off, maybe even more so than normal, that might have something to do with it. Moving more and shifting the energy through your body like we did this morning can help in huge ways. So even if you can get up in the morning and move just a little bit, find a child's pose and then maybe a down dog or do a couple of our striking cobra in the morning, it's amazing how much better you might start to feel. Maybe just set an intention for your day. It's cold, we're probably not going very far. Try and find something that will bring you a little bit of joy today. One of our themes for next month is continue with our strength work and moving through a lot of energy, but also trying to dial into revealing some happiness. So just maybe resolve to do one thing today, no matter how tiny it is, that would bring you a little bit of happiness in your own personal day. And then bringing hands to heart. Take a moment to honor your practice. Take a moment to honor yourself. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. Namaste.